Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Jigna Shah. I'm a psychiatrist and certified mindfulness teacher. I would like to thank DFIT MSA organization for inviting me to do this a wonderful topic presentation, Mindfulness for Wellness and Resilience. I'm delighted to bring my knowledge and my experience to global MSA community. Mindfulness has been popular in last 2 decades, not only in the healthcare, but also in business organizations and the schools. Mindfulness is one of the most powerful tool for the stress reduction and promote wellness and resilience. So stress is a part of life, and let me spend a few moments to talk about stress. Stress is a pressure and demand. When pressure and demands are higher than our ability to cope with it, many things can cause stress. It could be work-life imbalance, finance, health, list goes on. And not to forget that our overthinking, our tendencies to do the what ifs, question and doubt the outcome of everything. If it is for a short time and for particular event, yes, it can help you to to evaluate the risk. But if it goes on and on, it can get overwhelming. Stress is not all that bad. It has a good thing also. If it is a manageable, it can improve your performance. It can help you achieve your goal. Problem starts when it gets chronic, excessive. When you don't recognize it, it can affect your health. It can also lead burnout. When person feel burnout, they feel exhausted, emotionally depleted. They feel helpless. They feel trapped. Their outlook toward life gets negative. Anybody who feel constantly under stress are vulnerable to feel burnout. Burnout can happen to the doctors. It can happen to the healthcare worker. It can happen to anyone who is constantly under stress. And it is very common in a person who has a chronic illness, because daily life stress don't spare them on top of their illness. It can happen to their caregiver who are trying to help their loved one with the illness, trying to juggle with their share of the daily life challenges, and then they have their own stress. Caregiver burnout happen when they don't recognize it, and they try to do more than they can, and when they don't take the break. So all this stress affect the health when it gets chronic and when it is excessive amount. What happens is when whatever is the cause of the stress, body's response is by fight and flight to help us cope with the threat that is there. And with this fight and flight response, the hormones, adrenaline and cortisol, comes in a picture, and it helps us to deal with this stress. And it is a self-limiting. Once the perceived threat has passed, the hormone goes down. But in these age and days, even though we don't have a tiger running after us, we have imaginary tiger all day long. A lot of hassles, a lot of things that we perceive threats into. So with this constant stress, when we feel under attack all the time, this hormone stays up, and it all the normal process in your body and affect your health. And you can see how many problems you can have if you don't recognize and do something about your stress. And it is all affect your wellness. First thing, let me make sure about the wellness and resilience, because often people interchange this health and wellness. But wellness is beyond physical and mental health. Wellness is multidimensional. It involves social life, occupational life, spiritual life, and it's an active process. It's an active process of being aware how you are living your life and what can you do better to live your life at fullest potential? It is a conscious process. It is self-directed. And resilience is outgrowth of wellness in your whole being. It is also an active process. It's a skill that you can develop so you can adapt to the life challenges, deal with it, and bounce back. Even despite of your all the challenges and chronic illness, you can still strive for wellness if you recognize your chronic stress and manage it. Because if you don't, then this stress will affect you in a way that it will change your perspective. It will reduce your energy and motivation. It can also influence your commitment for self-care, and then whole gamut of problems start. So everything you see here, it boils down to managing the stress. And now it is like, how can we do this best? And how can this ancient Eastern technique, mindfulness, can help us to do this? How did it came from East to West? Yes, it is originated from ancient Hindu and Buddhist philosophy. Thousands of years ago, concept was brought to in a Western world in 1970s by professor named John Kabat-Zinn from UMass Medical School. What he did was he secularized this historic mindfulness by untangling the religious and cultural aspect. So now we have this modern mindfulness that whole around the world, people can accept this, understanding that this is not a religious practice. How he defined mindfulness as it is an awareness cultivated by paying attention on a purpose in a present moment, non-judgmentally. This is a very well explained definition for mindfulness, but it has many components. And to understand it, you have to read a couple times and unpack. And that's what I did when I came across this few years ago when I started my journey. Now, there are many mindfulness leaders who define mindfulness with different words, but the message is same: to cultivate the non-judgmental present moment awareness. So, as I said, when I came across this, I read it a few times, I unpacked it. When I understood it, I got very curious. And I thought to myself that how this present moment awareness is going to help me to reduce my stress. As my stress comes from my work, my parents' deteriorating health, kids' activity, juggling the things in my day, and how is this present moment awareness has anything to do with that? I was not realizing how I was creating my own stress and suffering from the way I was doing things. So I started reflecting. That's where I realized a lot of things. When I started reflecting, I found out that I was operating on autopilot, and I was doing things mindlessly. And many people who are seeing this presentation here right now would also be able to relate if they reflect how they do things. So let me go through this one by one. Let's take this, rushing through the things without paying attention. Think about any activity that you routinely do. Are you with the activity all the time when you are doing it, you are paying full attention there? Take like first thing in the morning, brushing teeth. When we are brushing teeth, either we are half a still sleep, not fully awake, or we are thinking about how, if we are fully awake, we think about how the day is going to go. But we are not paying attention to the brushing our teeth. Take any other activity that you routinely do and see. Are you with the activity when you are doing? And the next one, acting based on a habit, pattern, and assumption. Sound familiar? Do you react to the situation and people based on assumption? and your judgment without fully paying attention to what is happening in that moment? I would think so. I was at least doing it that way. That's where I realized that how I operate on autopilot. And this one, the last one, is very fascinating. Lost in the thoughts. We have about, human has about 50 to 60,000 thoughts in a day. 90% of them are repetitive thoughts that they had day before. 80% of them are negative. And that can cause stress, suffering. And if we are not lost in some other thoughts, we would be worrying about the future or analyzing the past. We worry about future thinking, what if this goes wrong? What if this doesn't happen? What if this plan is not right? Or you start analyzing the past, and what if I could have done this? What if I could have chosen different path? And what if roller coasters goes on and on? You go on that roller coaster and you get so stressed out from that. We give a big shadow to a small thing. And if we are not worrying about past or future, when we are lost in thought, when our mind is wandering, we are either fantasizing on something, rehashing on something, or daydreaming. So when I came across this particular study, I thought, this thing happens. It happens sometimes, time to time. Often I'm lost in my thoughts. No big deal. When I came across this study, I was shocked to see that no, it's not time to time. It's a 47% of time our mind wanders. That's a half of our life. Half of our life we are not living in a present moment. We are not living a life. The study also determined that wandering mind is not a happy mind. So if we understand the mind wandering, and if we catch that, we have a lot more chance to be happy. Isn't that tragic that we are losing half of our life being lost in a thought and wandering through our mind? It is so tragic, really, when we can do something about it. When there is a scientifically proven practical method, mindfulness is available. When we do this, it helps us. It allows us for our mind to be less distracted and calm. So let me show you, if you are ready, how we can cultivate this. And what do we need to cultivate this mindfulness? To cultivate this mindfulness, it requires commitment, effort, and practice. We are trying to learn new skill here. It's like a physical workout. When you decide to get fit, you go to the gym and work out every day. This is a mental workout. You don't need to go to the gym. You can create your own gym, inexpensive gym in your home, office, or wherever. You don't need a fancy equipment. All you need is your mind and body together in the same place when you do this practice. It should be together all day, but at least if you understand, if you are ready and do this practice, you will realize that how many times your mind and body are at two different places. So when you start doing this practice, if you are doing it at home and your body is at home and your mind is at work, no, it's not going to work. If you are at work and you want to do this practice and your mind is taking off to go for party, it's not going to work. So make sure that your body and mind is there when you start doing this practice. Now, once you start doing this practice, there are different techniques. It can be done formally or informally. Formal techniques, formal mindfulness meditation can be done many different ways. I'll name few of those techniques. And good thing about that is that, if you are not a person who can sit and focus on a breathing, there are different techniques available. Mindfulness breathing meditation, body scan meditation, mindfulness walking meditation. What you are doing during this meditation is you are setting Set aside a time from your schedule, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or whatever the time you can do. And idea is that you bring your full focus on a chosen object of whatever the practice you choose. If it is a mindfulness breathing, you focus on a breathing. If it is a body scan, you focus on a sensations, body sensations. If it is walking, you focus on a walking movement. And when you start doing this practice, your mind will wander. It will wander. Don't worry if that happens. It's natural. When your mind wanders, you acknowledge it, see where it went, and gently bring your attention back to the chosen object. If it happens again, you do it again. The most important thing is when you know that you are lost, you have a chance to come back. And if it happens again and again, don't get frustrated. Don't beat yourself up. Just take an approach like you are training your puppy. Or if you don't have a puppy, you are training your baby. And do this kind of practice till the time, whatever the time that you have set aside. And informal practices are good in a sense that you don't have to spare extra time. You can weave this mindfulness into your routine daily activity. You pick any of your routine day activity and totally focus on what you are doing while you are, whatever you are doing while you are doing it. If your attention drift, gently acknowledge that and bring your attention back to the activity. You can pick anything. You can pick gardening. You can pick when you are watering your plants, when you are doing something in a kitchen, when you are peeling the vegetables. Bring your full attention and senses there and pay attention and engage with the activity that you are doing. You can do this when you catch yourself that you are lost in a thoughts. Then when you realize that you are lost in a thought, bring your attention back to your surrounding. Look at the object that you see in the room. Feel what sound is coming. Is there any smell? And that way you will be able to bring yourself back in a present moment from the looping thoughts. And this is what the practices are. Now, I would explain how this works and how this is going to help you in a real life. So what happens when you keep doing practicing, when you practice this way, it increases your capacity to be fully present in a moment. So you can see all the experiences in that moment as they are, without coloring it with your judgment, assumption, bias, opinion. And you can see what they are just as they are. It helps you see the changing and impermanent nature of all the experiences. So you can let it go. It helps you to see that thoughts and feelings are also comes and goes. Thoughts are thoughts, not fact. You don't have to believe in them. Thoughts can create feelings. You don't have to identify with it. It may be strong at that moment, or it may be there for some time. But everything passes. And you can let them go once you realize, when you understand this. It also reduces mind chattering. So when you hear all this, you may be thinking that, oh, it is all us that is that we are suffering and we are feeling stressed. Well, most of the suffering we are causing ourselves or how we are reacting. But that doesn't mean that external situation doesn't matter or it is not important. It is important and you shouldn't ignore that. But study shows that external situation only account for 10% of your happiness. Most of it is your inner environment, your attitude, your reactions, your judgment, and whatever else affect how you react and how you respond. So once you realize that, you will see that how much time we spend fixing the external situations and we don't pay much attention what is going on in our mind and how we can help ourselves to do better So at least things that we cannot control, we can at least control our own behavior. So you can see that mindfulness is not going to take your pain away. Mindfulness is not going to change the situation outside. It's not going to change the annoying people that is bothering you. What it will do is it will change the way you engage with it. So you have chance to do something different or behave in a different way or respond rather than react. So now the next slide shows that this quote, that is one of my favorite quote about mind, because it explained the mindfulness in a nutshell. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. How beautiful. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. I will go over few benefits of the mindfulness. There are many, but I'll name few. It maintains the mind in a clear, alert space. It stabilizes the mind. It creates the flexibility. So when you become aware of your mind content and pattern, you can catch yourself when you are ruminating or obsessing. And you can shift your focus to the present moment. As we talked, that it helps manage stress, reduce your suffering, improve focus, reduce symptoms of mild depression and anxiety. It deeply connects you. And when you connect deeply with yourself and others, you can cultivate the compassion for yourself and others. Now, let me just briefly mention that extensive research has been done to showing the efficacy of mindfulness. And it also shows that with regular practice for certain duration, after certain duration, it can shows the brain changes too. And that explain how we can get the lasting benefit from this mindfulness practice. Now, at the end of this talk, I have a plan to give a short mindfulness meditation practice for you to test. But before we do that practice, I want to make a few things clear so you understand that what mindful practice is not. Because many times when people think that meditation, they think that, oh, it's about stopping thought. It's about suppressing thoughts. It's about avoiding thoughts. You have to empty your mind. No. Mindfulness is not that way. Mindfulness meditation is a dynamic process where you observe all life experiences. You keep open mind with kindness, curiosity, and non-judgmentally. You observe every experience. And whenever your mind wanders, you observe that as well. If you make a judgment, you observe that as well without beating yourself up. And from that awareness, you learn. And you can see that how your thoughts and feelings causing you to have suffering. Before we move on the practice, I also want to bring this very important topic that mindfulness practice is not a panacea. It is not the only way to reduce stress and promote wellness, nor it is right for everyone. People should select an approach that matches their need. And to conclude my talk, I want to bring your attention to this beautiful quote that pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. You can see that how with our inner mind, our mind and our thoughts and feelings can create suffering for us. So now, if you do this practice and understand that, you have a choice whether to suffer or not, whether to at least contribute to your own suffering. Now I would like to invite you all, if you wish to take a break from your busy day, and join with me to do short mindfulness meditation. When you are ready, sit comfortably. Close your eyes if possible. Bring your awareness in a space around you. Feel your body there. If you are feeling any tension, see if you can let it go and relax. Having any thoughts and feelings right now? Simply notice them without any judgment. No need to hold on or push them away. Let them float by. Having any sensation in a body around you? Notice them. No need to struggle with what is already here. Now bring your attention to breathing. Continue to breathe as you are. No need to change it. And be with your breathing. Feel how air is moving in and out. Feel rise and fall of your chest with each breath. If your mind has wandered off by now, it's okay. Just notice where it went without judging. And kindly bring your attention back to breathing. Now expand your awareness to whole body and feel as your whole body is breathing. Having any thoughts, feelings, sensations, hold them in awareness as well, just as they are. When you are ready, open your eyes and take this sense of awareness with you for rest of your day. Thank you and have a blessed day.